Hello and welcome to Office Hours with David Meltzer. I am your co-host, Blaine Bartlett. David will be joining us very shortly. He's just coming off of another interview. So in the meantime, I'm going to just kind of fill some airspace here, and then we'll bring our first guest up. I have spent the last 40 plus years working in leadership development around the world with some of the largest companies and some of the smallest companies on the planet. And one thing that's always kind of been a stickler, if you will, or a sticking point, a little burr under the saddle sort of a thing here, has to do with when we start to scale our organizations, how do we begin to hand things off to people? And this whole notion of delegation comes into play here. And it oftentimes gets to be, like I said, almost a burr under the saddle sort of thing, a point of irritation, because for a leader, for a manager, for a founder in an organization, nobody can do it as well as I can. I mean, that's kind of where we end up going. And that mindset can get us into a lot of difficulty, without doubt. If I'm going to scale, I can't be the bottleneck. I have to start, taking stuff off of my plate. How that gets done makes a big, big difference, both in terms of the ability of the organization to actually expand and grow, but also in terms of people's sense of self. Am I trusted? Am I seen as being capable, competent? Am I an integral part of the organization? Does what I'm doing matter? I mean, all of these questions, lay embedded. And in my experience with organizations, there are two questions that are always present in organizations. And this is part of the culture of an organization. And these two questions, very simple ones. Who am I, relative to everything else in the organization? And where do I belong? Who am I? Where do I belong? And you'll hear people say, well, that's not my job. What they're really responding to is an answer, a subliminal background answer to themselves about who am I, where do I belong? And if I'm being asked to do something that doesn't match that who am I, where do I belong scenario, things start to get a little bit wonky, and it becomes a little difficult to start doing some stuff. So with that little bit of a preamble, our first guest today, Brad Federman, has got a new book that's coming out, and we are very excited to explore this and unbundle it. It's actually dropping in about 2 weeks here. And the title of the book is Never Delegate Again. It's kind of like, wait a minute, stop. Hold the presses. What are we talking about here? Uncover the secret to growing your company, your people, and yourself. So I am going to be fascinated, Brad, to just kind of have this conversation with you. And as soon as David joins us, I know he's going to be wanting to be part of this as well.
Sure.
You're published in Forbes, Fox Business. I mean, you've got some pretty good street cred here in terms of your ability to actually speak intelligently and actually work intelligently in this space. What compelled you to write this book? What were you noticing that wasn't being addressed?
Well, there are two reasons. The first one's really simple. The first one was, when you look at what's written around delegation, there's very little. There's a lot written around leadership, and delegation might be a chapter in a book, but there isn't a lot really delving into the topic of delegation. But the second reason was that everything I saw was out of date. The truth of the matter is we live in a world that's changing rapidly. Technology and AI are rewriting the rules. Careers now stretch 60 years. Skill sets last for 2.5 to 5 years. That means I have to recreate myself about 24 times in my working life. And company life cycles are moving from decades to just a few years. The only way to stay relevant is to grow. And all of the delegation tools in the past are built around things like distribution of tasks, efficiency, not growth.
Right.
And so the reality is the models are actually killing employees and killing companies in terms of their ability to stay relevant, successful, competitive. And I wanted to rewrite the rules.
I love that. The idea of delegating for growth, not just delegating for to clean my plate, to just move something off my plate here so that I can go out and do whatever it is that I'm going to do. If I'm growing, one of the clients I work with in Japan, and I'm heading over there in a couple of weeks. It's a client I've been working with for decades, actually. The tagline on their organization is, "We grow great businesses by growing great people." And they're very, very intent on that. So when you consider the value chain, they've got growth embedded in every step of the process. Whether it's a service or product that they're offering, they're making sure that growth is a component of that. So when you're looking at uncover the secrets of growing your company, your people, and yourself. So what are some of the things that you're actually addressing from a delegation perspective that is unique, that's different, that it actually kind of changes the trajectory of how people think about delegation?
Sure. One of the key things I did, and forgive me, I had surgery, so a breathing tube was in my throat.
Yeah.
But this is what it usually is. But one of the biggest things I did was I took a look at the models, and we created a whole new model and way of looking at delegation. So one of the most famous models, I know you'll probably remember this when I say it, the Eisenhower matrix.
Oh, yes.
Are you familiar with the Eisenhower matrix? Do you know when that was built?
1954, I believe, something like that.
It was published around 54. It was built actually in the 40s. And but if you look at the 40s and the 50s, the most common jobs that existed back then were stenographer and farmer.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the jobs today, it looks nothing like that. And so I actually started playing around with the model, and I went to an executive at a major company that I work with, and I said, "What do you think about the Eisenhower matrix? Tell me what you think about this model." And he looked at it, he said, "This is great. This makes total sense to me." And I said, "Okay, so if you look at the model where it says it's urgent and it's important." He said, "Yeah." I said, "It says that you should do that yourself." He said, "That makes sense. I should do it myself. It's urgent and it's important." I said, "Okay, so Rick, your website goes down, or you have a PR problem with social media. Are you going to take care of that yourself?" Now, this is an executive that's not a marketing person, not a techie. And he looked at me and he went, "Are you crazy? I would make it worse." I said, "But you just told me you should take care of it yourself." And he went, "That's a good point." I said, "Now, let me flip this. If it's unimportant and urgent, that's what you should delegate to people." And he went, "Yeah." I said, "So if I were your manager and all I did was give you things that were not important, how would that make you feel?" And he said, "It would make me feel not trusted. I don't have a future here. I might have a future in my career because I'm not growing and preparing for what's coming next." And he realized at that moment, he said, "This model is no longer relevant."
Mm-hmm.
So we created something called the growth matrix, which makes you look at the same concepts through the eyes of skills and growth. And you make decisions about whether something is a basic foundational experience that you should have maybe during orientation, onboarding, whether something should be completely removed, deleted, automated, or whether something should be utilized as a growth opportunity. But it's basically a matrix that looks at those two factors and helps you decide on every choice about distributing work. What's the appropriate way to handle this? Is it a growth assignment or not? I think it's a mindset shift and change, and that's a big difference.
It is a huge difference. And what you're doing is you're growing talent at that point in time. And innovation, creativity begin to percolate up to the surface.
It's interesting. We're willing to train AI to learn, but sometimes we're not willing to do that for our people.
I was just going to ask about that because, let's build the best prompt we can. We'll train AI how to, we'll feed it all of this information. We don't do that. We don't give people in our organizations unbridled access to information about the organization. We will do it with AI. Yeah.
You're right, 100%. And I always say, if you want to scale your company, start scaling your people.
Yep.
They need to be there. It's not just about product or technology or process. It's everything you do is touched by people, whether you realize it or not. And if you really want to grow your company, you have to scale your people.
Great.
Yeah.
Where can people find out about the book? It's coming out. It hasn't. You've got a pre-launch coming up.
Yep, got a pre-launch coming up. They're going to be able to see it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It should be on every major bookseller. They can connect with me on LinkedIn. Brad Federman, LinkedIn, PerformancePoint CEO. It'll be there. It'll be on our website, performancepointllc.com. It'll be on my speaker website, bradfetterman.com. You'll find it so many places. It's going to be everywhere. So
okay, Gigi, can we run the Sharon down there? There it is. Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah. By the way, I'm really excited. Marshall Goldsmith, who is a world-renowned coach and business leader, he wrote the foreword, and it's wonderful. So I'm excited about that.
I know Marshall. He's a good guy. I mean, extraordinary coach, extraordinary human being as well.
Absolutely. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah. Folks, check it out. Get the book, Never Delegate Again. Uncover the secret to growing your company, your people, and yourself. BradFetterman.com. And there is, speaking of.
Hello, everyone.
Legends in their own time, and as well as legends in their own mind. It's my partner in crime, David Meltzer.
Oh, thank you so much for the grateful compliments. I won't mention your age and your aptitude. It's so good to have my mentor who's still here with us. And as long as he is, I'm so grateful that he can keep time and I can't. So thank you for your patience. I was gearing for an 8 a.m. Pacific time start until Colleen's like, are you going to join? So thank you guys for your patience. I appreciate it.
Hey, we'll catch up on the backside on this, but he's got some great stuff here, David. We'll have you back on another show. We've got shows all over the place here. As a matter of fact, my Soul of Business podcast, I'll circle back with you, Brad. We'll get you on that one as well here, because I really want to unbundle what you're doing here in terms of keeping people connected to something that's really important, which is their intrinsic growth.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, the book is, just so you know, the book is split up into 3 core areas. The first part is a setup of why is this so important and more important today than ever. Second part is the how-to. So there are 4 core steps. And then the last part is about coaching people through being better at doing it, right? So how do you become a better leader and coach and grow people? So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Brad Federman.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Soon. We'll have you back on. Thank you.
Sounds good. Take care.
You bet.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, my friend.
Trying to get my schedule right. I'm sitting here. My daughter flew in from Chicago with Dennis and just having a good morning. And then I get a text from Colleen, where are you? And good thing I teach people about time and being a student in your calendar. Once again, humans being more human. Let's bring on our next friend, and we are appreciative to have Cameron Bishop with us, Managing Director and Partner at Rain Catcher. Cameron, welcome to episode 761 or so of Office Hours and the Soul of Business with my partner, Blaine Bartlett. We appreciate you joining us.
Cameron.
And here we go again.
Technology.
Fellas, if you can hear me, I apologize.
We can hear you.
My internet is coming in and out today. I apologize. I don't know what's here.
It happens. But there's so much going on in the PE world, the roll-up world, the M&A world. Raincatcher is an award-winning national business broker and M&A firm specializing in the outcomes of your transaction. Yeah. There's so many opportunities today in this space. Where have you seen the change, Cameron, from the old roll-up in PE world to today? There seems to be unlimited amount of equity in order to facilitate some of these deals.
Looks like he's frozen here.
I don't have enough bandwidth to.
Let's bring on Shaheen. We'll see if the internet in Spain is more powerful than in Kansas. It probably is. Blaine, remember when we were out in Kenya together and we're walking the Masai Mara and the cellular was it was better than Manhattan. So
yeah, it was. Out in the middle of nowhere, got a lion over in the corner there. Hello, Shaheen.
Hi.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for coming on early. Thank you for being here, the co-founder, CEO of VeraContent. We are so blessed to have you here to talk about the brand global with multilingual content, which is obviously made easier today with AI than ever. Communication, especially in entertainment and branding, has changed because we now can not only align linguistically, but also culturally, vibrationally, frequency-wise. And there's so many ways to query utilizing AI, even basic AI tools that can find better, as I always say, and I wrote this down, the message, the market, and the match. And that's what I see VeraContent doing, is identifying the market with the message and matching it as well. So you've been doing this for almost 10 years. Where have you seen the greatest alignment with these global clients in that matching process?
Well, so at VeraContent, we basically create written content across a lot of different languages and also manage social media. So yeah, part of that is, of course, like really like adapting that content for the different international markets. So yeah, I don't know about so you're talking, when you talk about matching, I'm actually not sure what context you're referring to. But
if you look at the message itself, right, the content itself is the message, and too many people, the total addressable community, the market is so large that so many people are looking for, I had a good example. My last video did about 31 million views. That's a really big market, but a lot of those people within the 31 million people that viewed that content weren't necessarily a match for what I do. Where I put a piece up on LinkedIn that's more representative of my frequency, a complex type of piece of content, and there may be only 400 people that comment, not hundreds of thousands of people, and those 400 people are more valuable to me. And it seems to me, and I could be wrong, that VeraContent is in the business of creating the messages that have a specific market and a match to that market.
Yeah, I mean, definitely part of every project we do is really like making sure that the strategy makes sense. So like a lot of times we work with clients who are still figuring out like which platforms and which languages in which like specific international markets they want to target, and really narrowing that down, because of course, like creating content that's really tailored to a local market takes resources. So you have to be strategic about it and make sure that like you're sending messages to like the appropriate audience, the one that's going to give you the best ROI. Like you don't want to be spending a lot of money creating messages for, for a market that maybe isn't so high priority for you. So it's kind of, and I think in an ideal world, you would put out all the content all the time across all the channels, but you have to pick and choose. And also I think, obviously we know in content, like quality trumps quantity a lot of times, because it's like saying the right thing to the right person at the right time, not just spraying. So so getting that right is super important, and aligning with that with our clients at the beginning. And then what we do is kind of that ongoing management of producing that content across the different markets. So
when you're when you're working with your clients, and we'll just, and David, I think, your example is a great one. You got 36 million views, you speak in English, and you're, speaking about a, specific topic. How does your team actually go about, if David was a client here and he's wanting to target, Spain, he wants it in Spanish, but he's also looking at Farsi. I mean, he's doing something in Saudi Arabia. How does your team actually, I'm assuming close to real time, navigate that difficulty? I'm going to, assume it's difficult. It certainly would be for me, but being able to capture the content, qualitatively mix it so that it can be distributed in an appropriate language for an appropriate audience.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about having the experts on the ground. So that's really what we do, is like manage those local teams. Because even though like there's a lot of automation and AI, of course, can really help you craft messages, but yeah, I mean, as of today, you still need a lot of human oversight to make sure that those messages are going to resonate in the markets. And of course, you can't just depend on them. Like, of course, a lot of what we do goes beyond just the content creation as well. It's like the engagement in those markets. So we do a lot of work on social media, and yeah, and it's a lot about like knowing what kind of content would drive engagement in those markets, what's trending right now in those markets, and having people on the ground who are also able to produce content locally that produce things that resonate with people who live in those markets.
And one of the last values that a lot of people overlook in this space in social media management and content curation is the talent side of it. And you have, like I do, an internal team about the same size, about 20 people in-house that are your professionals, but you have outsourced a lot of talent. And one of the greatest values that we bring as a company in the marketing realm is the vetting of those, because I have spent millions of dollars of dummy tax with finding out the people that are overselling, back-end selling, lying and manipulating and cheating in this game, because the variables are so hard to distinguish as well as to quantify. You've done an extraordinary job, which is why you have so many big clients, of vetting internal and external talent. What are some of the secrets that you can share with our community that you've utilized to vet this obscure type of skill set that has cost so many people so much money and time?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's a huge part of what we do. It's like core to everything. I mean, that's, as I mentioned, we are managing freelance teams basically across a lot of different international markets, and we're constantly vetting new talent across the markets. And I think, of course, there's some markets that we have a lot more people and more experience in than others. And I think that is something that is, it takes time to like build up. Like you need to have a few people you trust who can really help you vet others in that market. So it's something that we like, takes time to build to get really strong in a particular market. And we're always adding more. But in terms of like how we vet, I mean, we have like an internal process for that. I mean, it's an initial application process, but then we do test assignments, and we have like our rating system internally and all, and we have like our internal database of our talent that's been pre-approved, and we have like different levels of approval for different types of work. So I think it's just doing that on an ongoing basis, and also just having people on our team who are really skilled at that and being able to identify the talent that's the right fit for the right project. And I think one advantage that we have, and why a lot of clients work with us, is because it does take time to build up those processes to really be able to identify talent. And it's something that some people don't want to do in-house. So that's why I think that's one of the biggest values we bring as an agency. So.
And you do it so well, and we appreciate having you and look forward to bringing you more business, especially internationally, as we work towards that type of exposure, awareness, and amplification. If you're interested in utilizing the best blend of storytelling and strategic insights, look to VeraContent, VeraContent.com. The amazing co-founder and CEO, Shaheen, I'm going to try this, Samavati. Muchas gracias. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Gracias a vosotros. Thanks.
Thank you, Shaheen.
All right, my friend Blaine, I think we're still frozen below, it looks like to me. Is that right, DG? Are we still frozen with Cameron? All right, we'll schedule another day. I wasn't blessed to hear Brad because I was too busy hanging out with Mia. But most importantly, what's your takeaway for the day?
I'm going to key in on primarily what Brad was talking about. You're going to delegate, and also Shaheen here. We're going to be delegating things to people if we want to actually grow our companies. And if we're delegating just to get stuff off our plate, that's one thing, but it's not going to work long term. So the whole point here: delegate to grow. Delegate to grow. Whether you're delegating in your content so that others can have access to it, there's a growth component to that. But everything has to grow. If things stop growing, then just kind of give it up. You've got to be able to grow yourself, your people, grow great people in order to grow great companies.
Great quote there. Grow great people to grow great companies. Mine, because I was limited to the amount of exposure to our friends today, was trusting and vetting. I think in Shaheen's story, especially with my experience in business, that to take accountability for the dummy tax that's paid by hiring the wrong people, the wrong talent, by not firing fast enough, a variety of different circumstances in my entire journey, from having thousands of employees to tens of employees to hundreds of outsourced employees and freelancers. There's still one golden rule, one golden takeaway, which is don't forget to trust everyone by vetting them, by making them uncomfortable by the questions you ask. If you truly trust someone, you should be able to ask for the information that they represented. So follow up on the references, ask uncomfortable questions, make sure people guarantee at least engagement in the action items in which they put forth. All great pieces of advice, all common denominators of successful companies and successful leaders, like my friend Blaine Bartlett, who I think is coming to visit me this week. I was hoping to see you.
We're actually going to miss. We're actually going to.
Oh, you're not coming this week?
No, I was there last week.
Oh, you were there last week.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. Anyways, very well. We will look forward to seeing you next time. Love you. And if you want to move your possibilities, probabilities into a reality, go to blainebartlett.com. Thank you, Blaine.
You bet, buddy. Give me a big hug.
I certainly will. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. That'll do it. We're going to be speaking about missing each other. We are going to be in Melville, New York, Ramona, California, Dallas for the Aspire Tour, Orange County and LA for the Dallas Cowboy Mastermind, the Rams Chargers Mastermind, and then San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's a good week in this month. If you want to travel with us, 200 cities a year, 200 events a year, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. You can always text me as well, 949-298-2905, 949-298-2905. We would love for you to join us. If you don't want to be invited, do not text me, because you will get so many invitations. You'll feel obligated, and then you'll feel frustrated, and then it's not good for our neighborhood or our relationship. So if you want to be invited, those are the contacts right there. We'd love to see you. Remember, most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Thanks so much.